Let's go.
All right, here we go. It is Wednesday. It's time. Finally,
It
time
is.
for some live trading
Yes, it
in the
is
live
the
trading room.
18th of December. Hello,
Yes.
everyone. We are starting indeed, and I think maybe today we will get a glimpse of if this reversal that we've been talking about for some time now, if it's going to become reality or not. Because, of course, today we have FOMC publishing their decision. That is the Central Bank of the United States of America, of course, with their interest rate decision, and that is um, one of the biggest event in any month. So I think maybe that could be the catalyst. Although I have to be honest, EU looks very, very weak in
Yeah.
almost every time frame. I have a hard time finding structure that tells me that the buyers are really coming to the market. They're not. It doesn't seem like they are. And if that's any indication of what's to come, then perhaps we will need to go lower before we find some bottom, some structure, and start looking for that reversal again. Or maybe it won't come. Maybe we'll keep on going. But today, I think, might be the first indication us traders will be having from the market. Let's see. I think that's uh, that's great to know.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm looking at the EU, I'm thinking I don't really think it looks any different today than it did a couple of days ago. I think the way I'm looking at it is just it's in a range, it's in the same area, it's not really moving, it's waiting for something to happen. It's
Hmm.
the market is obviously waiting for a catalyst. You could say there's price has reached some form of equilibrium, right? And that is what happens when price is trading in a tight range. There's equilibrium between supply and demand, between buyers and sellers. We've agreed that this is where your USD should be trading at this point in time based on the information that we have, and now we're waiting for new information to see where that might take us. We also have Pedro in the background. He's working on his sound. Let me know if he was walking away. So I'm pretty sure he's not ready to, not ready to come on. But we have him in the background. He's working out some technical difficulties with his audio, and as soon as he's done with that, we're gonna bring him on stage here. But yeah, like I said, EU is ranging. However, something that is did really move today is AUD USD and especially NZD USD. That had a breakthrough downside, and now we're really trading at a low area on NZD USD. So I think and AUD USD as well. So I, AUD is like right in the middle of that area, like right in the middle of the area there. I want to start seeing signs of a bullish reaction. I did start building a very very small position at the very top of this area, but obviously that broke down and that idea is no longer valid. But the overall bigger picture is still. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, yeah, this is this is probably the area that we're gonna get that we're gonna get a reversal from if we do see a reversal.
To me,
Basically,
it looks very weak. If I look at AUD USD, um, the Australian dollar against the US dollar, I would say it looks very, very weak. If I don't see any reasons to the left, at least in terms of the quantities and order blocks that I look for, there is a structure here, but it looks so weak. I think if anything, it's going to retesting that swing low that we had before, which is denoted by that horizontal blue line which I'm playing with right now. Probably, I think it's going to be testing that, because if it were to have buying pressure coming in from the structures we had before, and that was what we were expecting, that buyer pressure never came in. If we look at the order flow, right, on the daily, no appetite for any bullishness there on the daily. It's been very clear to us, not very clear, but the market has been very clear in what it's saying is, every pop has been sold, and we have just been forming bearish structures after another. I think we have about 3, if not 4, bearish order blocks being formed in the place where it's supposed to have some demand, right? So that's a lot of weakness right there. It's not even doesn't even make an attempt on the higher time frame to have some kind of a reversal. So that's very I see that as very a lot of weakness. So I'm not too sure I want to do anything below the area. To me, of course, the area was the structure was above where we are right now. And as soon as the market starts going below that area, and we are, to me, it's I want to take my hands off, because I don't want to be stubborn. I don't want to, force things, because I have no effect on the market, of course. If the market is breaking the structure, I should read that. To me, that's a sign of weakness, and I need to step back and wait for the market to tell me something that aligns with my expectation. I was expecting, of course, some kind of a reversal or some buying interest coming in, and nope, sir, didn't come. So I don't know, maybe today things might change, but I don't see that happening. The weekly, for example, is this order block, which has been respected from the past previously, right? It made a very nice reaction. I like this reaction on this pair. See that huge? It made a higher high last time it came back to this weekly order block. So that to me tells me that they're supposed to be buyers here, and they're not. And that's a change in character, right? Buyers are supposed to come here, and they're not. So I need to hold back and just wait for the market to actually on Friday, if we close anywhere near where we are right now, this weekly order block will be invalidated. So it's going to be very interesting if this is a squeeze of that order block, or the sign that it's going to be invalidated. And this area, I'm not interested in buying, at least not until it comes back and forms some kind of reversal. I need convincing. But it's interesting. I mean, the best trades are, of course, where you are at the extremes, and we are possibly, if it reverses, I'm not gonna be looking for a buy, but if it does reverse from here, and you're in that trade, that's the extreme of the move, right? So that's the best place to get your risk reward ratios if you want them high.
I'm gonna bring on Pedro in just a second here, but before we do that, let me just show my another view of AD USD here before we bring him on. Let me see. We got AD USD here. So what I'm seeing in terms of AD USD is this level right here. Now I'm absolutely with you that happened with my screen here. Okay, so I'm absolutely with you. This level right here, I'm currently looking at this horizontal area that we're trading in right now. It has historically been used as a good level for support. I think we're currently, if this is somewhat of a range, and I believe we're definitely at the range lows, and I'm watching the low of that wick. I believe that's the low, that's the wick that you looked at as well. Now, the reason why I'm liking this area is how AUD/USD formed the cycle low down here at the last time. And last time it did form that cycle low, we had an accumulation range. And this is actually a really, really good example of an accumulation range where you also have I must say, like, the perfect opportunity to enter on that retest right there. And I think you're going to like that as well, because you kind of have some sort of order block right here as well. Maybe that one, right? That would be perhaps something you would look at, Victor. That one right there.
Yes, for sure. Yes, that
Then
is the place. That is the place I would be entering.
Yeah, and then look at what happens if you draw a line here in the middle. It retests that line perfectly. And not only that, it gives you that bullish engulfing on the next candle. So like, this is just a picture perfect idea. And here, I mean, if we look at what price action did last time it was trading down here, we would be looking at this and we would say, wow, AUD/USD, such an incredibly bearish chart this is. Like, there's you know, it's just incredibly bearish, just like Euro USD. And then all of a sudden, poof, it just starts moving higher. And when did that start? Look at that. It's the Fed interest rate decision on the 1st of November, 2023. That's when we had that move to the upside. What are we looking at in terms of news today? Let's see. What's the news that is coming up today? That is the Fed interest rate decision. So the same event that created this bottom comes now the next time we're testing this level. So there's, of course, a very strong correlation right here, okay? Very, very strong correlation. Yes, we could you say FOMC?
Okay, I think let's
Victor,
have Pedro on. The people in the audience are waiting and asking for Pedro. Pedro, yeah, come on.
Pedro. There's a song about Pedro that a lot of people have been commenting, saying that we should play a song about Pedro. But the thing is, they're gonna get a copyright. There's gonna get a copyright strike, so we can't do that.
I don't know that song.
Don't get me started on that. Okay, Pedro, welcome. How's it going?
What's up, everyone? I'm glad to be here again. Thank you for the invitation. Yeah, I heard that song, I think this summer. It was funny. Some family members just started singing that song to me.
Of course.
They may be laughing now if they are watching the stream and someone's asking for that song. They may be laughing.
And the code, the giveaway, we have a link in the comment section for the giveaway, and people are asking for the code. Now it says when you go into the giveaway and you're supposed to add the code, it says the code is the name of the community manager of the Portuguese speaking community. And Pedro, why don't you tell us what you're doing here with the 5ers and your plan for your project?
Yeah, so it's more of the same. Create content, help the traders to succeed with the 5ers. In this case, it's going to be a community more focused on Portuguese speaking people. Maybe if there is anyone speaking Spanish as well, maybe can join as well. Maybe hablo un poquito de español. But yeah, that's the main goal. In next year, we're going to also be more active on YouTube. We're going to have a personalized YouTube channel in Portuguese. We're creating some videos on behind the scenes, but we are going to do also lives next year. Aside from that, the normal social media channels where hopefully we're going to be doing interviews as well. Recently, I've seen actually a few Brazilian or Portuguese people passing their challenges, getting funded, even getting payouts. Even I think the second highest payout in November, it was a Portuguese guy. So wow, good to see that nice. Portuguese people also succeeding in trading. And yeah, that's the goal. And they're going to be open to recommendations as well, the type of content that you guys want to see. At this point, of course, at the 5ers, you already have plenty of content throughout these years. If you have any specific content that you want to see being done in Portuguese, let me know. and you can do that.
I've just added all the links to the Portuguese speaking community in the description of this live stream. So make sure you go into the description and join that community, and you get to see more of Pedro. And then if maybe hear that song as well. Who knows? We'll see.
Jonatan, do we have a Discord server? Do we?
Yes, we do have a Discord server. And it's the best one. It's huge and it's the best one. It's available for everyone that has an account with the 5ers. If you have an evaluation account, or if you're funded, if you have been funded, or if you've purchased an account in the past, you do have access to the Discord server. And the Discord server is available if you go to the5ers.com, and then you see when you join the5ers.com, you see that you have quick start. You click quick start, you join, and I believe the link to Discord should be in the lower left of the hub. So if you go into the hub, you log in, there should be 2 links. There's one to YouTube and one to Discord. You click Discord, you get in, say hi to Abe from me. That's the community manager in Discord, who's doing a wonderful job on manage that community, and lots of plans for the Discord community next year. Same as the plans, big plans for the YouTube channel as well. Speaking of big plans, we are going to expand the live trading room. So we're gonna expand in a big way. I don't think people understand how big this is really going to get, but we're actually looking for people to join us in this journey. So if you're looking at this right now and you're thinking, you know what, I have something that I might be able to add to the live trading show. So we're looking for all types of people. If you think that you have something of value that you might be able to add to the live trading room, then send an email to tradingroom@the5ers.com, and we'll take a look at that. So very, very exciting times coming up.
Yes, indeed. That's exciting for sure. Everyone who, if you like our show, if you think this is something you want to support, please subscribe to our channel. There are many of you who are watching even regularly who are not subscribers yet, and that's a pity. If you subscribe, you support us, we become even better.
Yes. Again, well. So the code. We have people in the comment asking what's the code. Now the code is the name of the community manager of the Portuguese speaking community, and it starts with P. And the guy at the bottom here is the community manager of the Portuguese speaking community. Yeah, and not his name you can see right here, without the FS. So it's Pedro. Okay, for those of you who it's Pedro without the FS. That's the code. That's the code.
Pedro, I got a question for you. I thought the Portuguese from Portugal and Brazil are just about the same. Isn't it the case, or is it not?
They can understand each other, of course, and there are many similarities. But of course, as any region, when you kind of distance yourself, even within Portugal, there are different accents that you can expect from the south to the north. So in Brazil, of course, over the years they may have developed their own expressions. So yeah, they have their uniqueness, way of sometimes speaking expressions and so on. But overall, the Portuguese is Portuguese, and you can understand them.
I can't yes. Like I can barely understand the Swedish people in the south of Sweden. Like, so I live like a little bit north, up north, and I like some of the guys in the south of Sweden. I don't understand anything that they're saying, honestly. So it's funny how the accents can be so different within a country.
Is the difference between Portuguese from Portugal and from Brazil the same as British English and American English? Is that something similar? Would you say?
Maybe English, because I think it's more of a simplistic kind of language. I don't think that there are so many different expressions or way of saying words in in English. So I think maybe it's easier to understand English as a global language, and there isn't that many differences in the US from the UK. I think Portuguese, because we have maybe more verbs, more expressions. Maybe there's the difference kind of gets wider, gets bigger. But yeah, overall, more or less the same.
I want to show you
Thank you
guys
for that.
something. I have a beautiful. I want to brag a little bit about my entry on GBP. Where is that entry from? It's let's see. Yeah, I got an entry on GBP right here. Look at that. Look at that trend line. It comes in right there, but I would have hoped that I would have seen like a move higher. I think that's going to come in though, hopefully. But that right there, I really like that. I think that is like an entry that Victor probably looked at as well.
Let's
But
look at that. You're talking about GGU?
Yeah, I really like that retest of that level right there. But I'm gonna switch over to my low. I'm gonna switch over to my more of a low time frame trading screen here and see if we can perhaps get any opportunities. Now, of course, we have FOMC day, so it's going to be most likely quite slow. But we have looking at we have AUD/USD had a big move to the downside, and we're now seeing a DAP move, pulling back, which creates this local on the 1 minute local uptrend, which I would perhaps be interested in following, although not really sure. Looking at Euro/USD, we're breaking down here on the lower time frames. Might go out to the 5 minutes, see if we have any levels below. I'm basically trying to find reasons to take a trade here.
We have orange folder news in about 7 minutes, which is the building permits. That is for the US dollar, US economy. It's orange folder, so we don't expect much of a movement, but who knows? Maybe the market will have a change of direction, perhaps. We'll see.
We have a local resistance on AUD/USD and NZD/USD. I think those are my two best bet here. So obviously that would be short, possible short here, and of course, and also a reclaim of that level is a possible long. So if this is a clear range on the on the 1 minute or 5 minute, then I would be glad to perhaps take a trade here. I don't like the fact that this is a very nice uptrend, though. So on the 5 minute on NZD/USD, I might look at a break below this level right here. Nah, I don't know. That doesn't feel right. This is better though. AUD/USD I feel like is better. Let's see if we can bring up the.
Why don't you think NZD/USD is a good candidate in comparison to the other one?
Because this has more of a characteristics of a range with this being like range low, and then you have it's oscillating between range low and range high, which for me would then I'm thinking in terms of range trade, mean reversion trade, and if you're looking at NZD/USD, it has so. The range on AUD/USD basically looks, the high of that range is here. You have this move on AUD/USD, but you have this move on NZD/USD. So the downtrend is much cleaner and clearer on NZD/USD here. But then you look at this, the move up into this resistance is too compact. It's I don't get the feeling that it's oscillating between support and resistance. However, if NZD/USD would be trading up here on that high, then I could be watching, a move like this and go short here. But now it feels like, and there's no risk to reward here as well, because I would want to have my TP down here. So like when I'm trading on the lower time frames and I'm looking at this, we want like extended moves. We want to see strong moves leading into areas like this one right here, from that support straight up into resistance, one move. But here we have support, and then we have like a very compact trend. So what we could see is a breakout from this area with a strong directionary move up here, and that could be a possible short. But right now I'm potentially looking at shorting 80 USD, but it's not clean. It's not super clear though.
I
heard you guys
do,
before. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go. I was gonna say I see your point, and sure, I can agree that it is you want to have clean reaction from the areas of interest. If it's hesitant, I don't like trading that, because it tells me that there's a little bit. It needs to be a clear signal, and forming a range is not exactly that. It's the market is actually agreeing that's the range it should be in, while when you have a reaction, you can clearly see the difference, the size of the candles, and it's clearly one-sided, while in a range, of course, it's not. So I understand what you're saying.
And so we have a question here. Why do you think NZD/USD will go up to? I don't think it will go up to that high. But if it does come up to this high with the same type of momentum that we saw here, then I want to short it. But I don't think it's going to come up to that high. Like I don't really think that it's either will or will not come up to that high. I don't really care. Like I'm not trying to forecast anything. On that point, something interesting that I read yesterday evening, I was reading a book, can't remember the name, about financial forecasting, and the fact that on financial forecasters are like the percentage of times they are completely wrong is so incredibly high. There's actually professional trading strategies around fading like professional finance forecasters. And even Alan Greenspan said that they're famously bad at forecasting market conditions. This is the Fed. Okay, Alan Greenspan was the chairman of the Fed. That's the Fed, whose job is to try to anticipate economic turns and adjust, interest rates based on that. They're saying that they basically can't forecast the future of financial markets. They're just very, very bad at that. And so if you hear that I say like, oh, I think price is going to go here, like what I really mean is if price goes here, I will take a trade based on these probabilities. Like trying to predict or trying to make, tell you guys that, for example, I'm long Euro USD and I'm trying to build a case for, a possible reversal on Euro USD, but I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if that's going to happen. All I know is that the risk to reward, if that happens, is better now than it was 2 months ago. So if Euro USD is reversing here, then I want to be long. If it breaks to the downside, I will flip short. It's very important that we understand that forecasting financial conditions is impossible. And if you're right 5 times in a row, that's most likely just because of luck and chance. If you expand that 5 times to 100 times, most likely you're not going to have a very good hit rate on that.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, I agree. I don't think as a trader you need to focus on predicting anything. That's not your job. Where you need to focus is where is the the probabilities in combination with the risk and reward ratio, where are they in your favor, right? The decision, if the market, let's say today, if the market is going up or down, is roughly, unless you have some kind of data to base it on, is roughly 50-50. But
Yeah.
if you can get in with a bigger reward to risk, then that's in your favor, because you have a 50-50 chance of losing, right? But if you win more than you lose. And that's a winning trade. That's your job as the trader, not to predict whether it's going to go up or down. It's to identify those areas and setups where you have that favorable combination of win rate, or probability in this case, and a reward risk ratio that is in your favor. That's it. And we shouldn't step into that trap in thinking that we are actually predicting price. We're not.
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right about that. Before we kind of go into the into the actually seeing if we can find any setups, I wanted to show you guys something here. So I'm working on an educational project that you're probably going to be hearing a lot about in the near term future. And I'm working on worked on a video and talked about a confirmation as in relationship to the Dow theory, and how back then Charles Dow looked at the railway. I think it was the railway index versus the industrial index or something like that. And then he looked at confirmation of bull and bear markets. And today, I was thinking maybe we can use the S&P 500 and the Russell 2000 to look for that type of confluence. So one idea would then be to see if the S&P 500 creates higher highs, but the Russell 2000 creates lower highs, there's a divergence in price, and that might signal a change incoming. So I was looking at, do we have any scenarios where this played out in the past? And here we can see that before the bear market in 2022, at the end of 2021, we had the S&P 500 creating a new all-time high here, I believe, a new high, while the Russell 2000, after doing a massive breakout here, actually created a lower high. Now, what's interesting here is that this did not only mark the beginning of the bear market, but it also actually marked the second top of Bitcoin. Now, this is very, very interesting, because I believe that the first top of the 2021 bull market on Bitcoin was quite easy to predict. In terms of price action, it was quite a simple structure. But what happened was, and this is something I've talked about before, was the S&P 500 continued to break into new highs when Bitcoin formed that first top, which tells you that the US stock market and the overall risk on sentiment is not done yet, And then, of course, we saw Bitcoin continuing higher. And here we see Bitcoin creating a new high, and shortly after, the S&P 500 new high, but the Russell 2000 a new low. And that was when we had that major start of the bear market, and that also pretty much predicted also the top in Bitcoin. A little bit later, but still, you would have saved a lot of money if selling based on this structure. So this is something that you want to keep in mind when you're planning your trading in 2025, because we're all traders here. We're not only looking at trading funded accounts. I mean, I believe that the profits that you make from the funded accounts, I think it would be a really good idea to put that into long-term investments, like the index funds and things like that. And if you do that, and if you plan to do that, you obviously want to know when is the best time to stay in cash, when is the best time to invest your cash. And obviously in a bear market, you want to be dollar cost averaging into these long-term investments. And in the bull market, you want to well, actually can dollar cost average in a bull market as well. But you kind of want to make sure that if you can time the overall bear markets and the bull markets, you're going to be seeing a very nice compounding return on those long-term investments. And something like this, looking at these two indices, can really help you to try to predict when there might be an overall shift in risk sentiment.
Indeed.
Well said, Jonathan.
I think that's a good strategy. Using your prop firm account profits to grow, because it would be foolish, right? If you made all this effort to be profitable and just spend it away. That's such a waste. Because I mean, there's much more than just spending money, right? It's actually building wealth. And how do you do that? You do that with your portfolio, long-term visions, horizon, not with, month by month. That's income, but you want to be building your net worth, not just your income.
Exactly.
So I think it's very important to realize that we're not, at least I'm not here, to spend what I earn every month. That's for sure not my plan.
I want to cover a question here. Okay, so let's say NZD USD reaches a target. Do you enter the market straight away, or what do you consider a valid setup? Okay, so these are great questions. I love these questions because it really it's just an overall good question. Okay, so let's just we have a level here. Okay, so one of the reasons why I like. Okay, it's not only about the level. Okay, so it's not only about the level. It's about how price reacts before hitting the level and when it's hitting the level. Okay, so how is price moving into the level? If you add a level here on like we use that wick and then these candle closes, and we're going to use the replay tool here. Now, when I see something like this, I would say, okay, that's a really good move from this level down to this level, a strong impulse move down into a support area. This is the type of price movement that I want to see into that level. And then when price breaks down, let's assume that, I was looking for longs here, but now it's breaking down. So if we have the same type of move into this level, then I might be interested in shorting this level. But what we see here is a much more calmer price action, much more condensed price action going into the level. And the reason why this is problematic is because we have multiple level of support, especially that one right there, which if I short here, that doesn't really create a good risk to reward. So what I want to see coming up into this level is I want to see like a move like this, where it doesn't have many highs and lows. I want to see almost like a straight line going into this level. And then when price enters this level, I want to see a reaction confirming that this is the level that I want to be selling. And that could be something like price comes up, and then just has one candle, and then the next candle is like a massive bearish engulfing candle like that. It can also be a low time frame range forming like this, or like a Quasimodo, something like that, perhaps. Say that is just a head and shoulders with a neckline like that, but something like this, right? It's the reaction that confirms that whatever I think is going to happen at that level, or whatever I want to see at that level, is actually happening. And then what I want to do is I want to enter where I feel like the confirmation comes in, and then my invalidation would be most likely above these highs here. So the move would be down to the next level below. And the way I'm watching this is basically a move from one side of the extreme down to the middle of the range. So you can see right here that this level is now in good alignment with the middle of the range equilibrium, and yeah, I think this looks like a good possible range. That's my thought process. But this way of trading here in the lower time frames, this is discretionary trading. There's no clear, as you can see, it's just price action, and I'm looking for different things, and I'm looking for price action to kind of confirm what I'm looking for. And trading that way is it's almost impossible for me to tell you why I'm entering the trade, because there's so much more going on that I can't really put into words when trading discretionary. It's 8 years of experience, basically.
Yeah, it's something difficult to translate into clear rules, why you're doing things and what you're actually seeing. Although it's a great exercise, in reality, it has some of gut feelings, which is not always objective. Easy to make it objectable or objective. That's what I meant to
Yeah,
say.
exactly. All right, Pedro, I see that you shared your screen, and all I see is millions of windows. Can I add it?
Yeah, I can move to this one instead first.
Okay, let's see. Let's see what you got going on here.
Yeah, overall, the dollar index is still the same as last week, basically. There is no movement. You guys already talked about that on the euro dollar as well. A complete range. Maybe today, hopefully, price is going to move a little bit after the Fed. It's an interesting Fed meeting today because, as I mentioned, one of the times that I was here before, I tried to understand what is the sentiment in the market. So not exactly just what is being said or what the Fed is doing, but also what the market is pricing in and what is the sentiment overall. And for today, basically everyone is in agreement that it's going to be a 25 basis cut rate. But I think that, interesting enough, what the market is looking at, if you actually look at the Fed watch, I don't really think that the market is even concerned about what's going on today. The market is actually concerned what's going to happen actually in the next year on the 10th of December. Which is basically how many rate cuts is the Fed actually preparing to do in 2025. And that's where the main concern for the market is at this point. Is it going to be at this point? We can see that today with the cuts going to go into a 4.5%. And if this is true, the Fed's going to just cut rates for twice, basically 50 basis points by the end of 2025. The projection is around 2 to 3 rate cuts in 2025. And that will be kind of a hawkish approach from the Fed. Even though they cut rates, the signal is hawkish. The signal is not that great because you could see a little bit more of a faster path into cut rates. But that's not exactly the trajectory right now. So that's the main expectation for today, which is actually going to be at 7 p.m. So usually, I don't know if you guys trade the Fed or not, but usually I actually enjoy trading the Fed. And there are 3 moments that I usually look for when I trade the Fed news, which is I don't really trade the interest rate decision. So whatever happens at 7 p.m. UK time when the rate comes out, I don't participate on that. I actually try to pay attention if there are any clues that we can collect from the movement, from price movement in that exactly moment. If any level is broken or not exactly at around that time. And then I like to trade is after when he's starting to do the press conference, and most likely the moment of reversal, if there's going to be any kind of reversal, usually starts after he finishes to read his statement and when the Q&A starts, like around 10 minutes after he starts reading his statement. That's usually when you see any kind of reversals, usually there is that pattern going on. But today it's different because today we also have the projections. It's not going to be just interest rates, it's going to be also the projections. So the market's going to find out straight away at 7 p.m. what are the Fed projections for 2025 in terms of rate cuts, in terms of inflation, unemployment, GDP, and so on, right? So all that's going to be accumulated straight away at 7. So we may expect actually a bigger move at 7 p.m. today. And then at 7:30, it's going to be just more of him just explaining what the projections are or how did they get to that conclusion, then the Q&A. So it's going to be a little bit different. Usually the movement is not that big around 7 p.m., but today it may be because that's exactly what the market is trying to pay attention to. in here. So that's actually, in my opinion, what the market is going to be looking at. If the Fed, by any chance, the projection is higher or a kind of more rate cuts, that's going to be bullish for the indices. If by any chance it's even lower, then that doesn't really good for the indices in this case. But at this point, what the market is pricing in is already kind of a conservative approach in here. So hopefully the dollar index is going to see some kind of move away from this range where we are. We've been stuck in here for almost 2 weeks or so. So hopefully we're going to move away from this level. I'm not sure, to be honest, what to expect from here, either on the euro dollar at this point. I want to see a little bit more of information. I can see a few clues. I see maybe a breakout of in here. I like potentially this level. If price wants to come back into here, maybe I could see some reaction. And I'm not really sure about the highs. If price does want to go higher, I'm not really sure if there's going to be anything in there. I need to see a little bit of price action. But we do have this range, so maybe there's liquidity above this level that potentially could just go up and down in there. So I'm not really 100% sure. I haven't really been active on euro dollar or the major FX pairs. I've been looking a bit more for the yen pairs. Aussie and New Zealand, something that I've been following as well. Recently, the US indices as well, they've been kind of okay recently. So yeah, that's a little bit of what I'm looking for at this point. For example, the yen pairs yesterday was an interesting potential long in here, which means shorts on the yen pairs. I'm still curious to see how price may react still within this range, but that was already a trade yesterday in there. The Dow, finally, I think the Dow is finally potentially looking for a potential long. I think you guys talked about the Dow yesterday. So after this beautiful channel, this is a textbook channel that we saw in here as a bearish move, it finally approached this level. I think, Jonatan, you mentioned that potential zone as well in here that you're looking for price to approach this level. The reaction has been good. I think it was yesterday night or something like that price started to react from here. We'll see if now we're going to have some kind of longs and potentially go up from this level or not. S&P is still kind of in the same range, so it bounced from the levels that we talked about as well 1 week ago, if you guys recall. Kind of that was a good reaction, but price keeps respecting this range. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen at around. Even if price breaks new highs, that doesn't mean that the price will just kind of skyrocket and go to the moon. That may just be a fake out due to all the accumulation of highs that we have at this point. Same thing with the lows. Even if price breaks the lows, even though we kind of managed to break one structure in there, but it's still very bit indecised as well. So yeah, market is in an interesting period at this point. The VIX continue to go slightly higher, so that was kind of one of the first breaks of structuring here. That's something that we also talked about, that we initially starting to look for shorts on the indices when the VIX was around this level. Meanwhile, is approaching now the 15-16 mark. Let's see if it's going to find some resistance in there and push down, which means maybe the indices to go higher. Yeah, that's a little bit of how I'm positioning myself at this point.
I like how you talked about how you're trading the FOMC, and I also have this strategy where I whenever the press conference starts, I look for reasons to reverse the initial move. So you have first the initial move, and then the press conference starts, and a lot of times you see that initial move retrace during the press conference. That's something that I do when I do trade FOMC, but usually I do not, because I don't like trading around that time. I got kids, and
it's true.
It's not the best time of the day.
It's the only day. Only day that I stay late to trade.
Yeah, it's sort of like if it would be one day where I would be trading late, then it would definitely the FOMC day. And I like that you mentioned the Dow as well, because that trend is just picture perfect, and then it comes into that level. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it reacts to that level.
Yeah, I think the time of the FOMC meeting or the decision rate is typically where it's after London session, right? So it's after at least my session. That's where I'm taking off positions if they are day trading, if they have day trading targets, and I'm not looking to open new ones. But of course, FOMC brings a lot of volatility, and that can bring new opportunities. But it's I haven't focused on trading that event. Actually, I don't don't plan on trading any high impact events at all. I just, if it signals, I take it, and if not, regardless whether that's high impact or not, an event that is the catalyst of that move. But I think if you have the data, if you have some track record how to trade a specific event like you have, Pedro, then by all means, I think you should, push it as much as you can. And if that means trading outside of your normal hours, for sure.
I saw someone making a comment in there saying that maybe the best time then is to trade the Asian session after the FOMC. And sometimes that's the reality as well. When you do have these big news events, exactly that comment. Sometimes when you do have these big news events, the move may not happen exactly on the day that we have the event. It may actually just happen the day after, right? It was similar with the ECB press conference last week. The move didn't really happen on Thursday. It actually kind of the reversal on the euro dollar to the upside to happen more on Friday morning during the London session. So sometimes actually the best trades can happen hopefully during the London session, because if they happen during the Asian session, then I'm not trading them because I'm sleeping. So hopefully at least they wait for the London session to start making the move in there. But that's the reality as well. So sometimes we may feel the rush and the FOMO to trade the FOMC because we think that the big move is going to happen on that day. But sometimes the best move actually happens on the after. For example, if we have already a continuation kind of price moving to the upside and we are anticipating potentially reversal in there, maybe on that day of the FOMC, maybe it's going to be another exhaustion kind of price pushing higher a little bit more. And only after the day, kind of next day, we're going to finally have the reversal. So that's actually a good point. And tomorrow the news are going to continue. We have BOG, we have Bank of England. So it doesn't finish today with the Fed. There's more big news events coming in tomorrow as well.
Yeah, for sure. And that can play into the directional move of any movement. Go ahead, Jonatan.
Yeah, sorry to just jump in like this, but I want to show you, because I just entered a position on AUD because we did see what we wanted to see. Now, of course, just when I'm about to share the screen here, it starts moving against my position. And it's almost like I don't want to be sharing it right now because it looked so perfect right when I was interrupting Victor. I'm like, I gotta show this, and then it's like, yeah, that's what you get for interrupting. But here is the general area where I want to take profit, and you can see by just, and this is what I mean with discretionary trading. If you're looking at this and you're completely new in the world of trading, this might not tell you a lot, but what I see here is a possible break of structure, where I see a swing low right here, a swing high, a swing low, a swing high, and a break of a previous swing low, and a potential break of structure. Now, when we started this live stream, we were trading, I believe, around this area right here. So somewhere, actually, let's pull up my trading view, and I think we can get a better view of what we're looking at here. So this is AUD, and we started the live stream right here. So when we started the live stream, we were trading here, and I remember saying, this is an interesting area for potential short. When we hit this area, I will be looking for confirmation. And this goes back to the question we had a viewer saying, like, what do you want to look for in terms of confirmation? And I can show you here exactly what I wanted to look for. We come into that level right there. We still have somewhat of an uptrend. And then we have a break to the upside. It's still an uptrend, but here we see that we test that level right there, and we fail to continue higher. So rejection here, and then that breakdown, and that right when we broke that level, that's where I decided to enter this trade. Now, entering here, there is of course the danger of this being a support level and then price running higher. But zooming out and you look at the 5 minute, you see that the general idea is true, because you had I view this as a fake out. So first a fake out, and then on the 1 minute you see a break of structure. So let's go to current price. This is where we're trading right now, and I still like this. I have my stop loss above that one, and we're still using this level as resistance. So now what we see is a local double top and a lower lower high right here, and this level is still being used as resistance with a fake out to the downside. So there is, of course, a likelihood of price moving down. And if price moves down, we want to look at where do we want to exit this. And to me, it looks quite obvious that we want to be exiting around this area, which I also believe would be, I think we marked out this earlier, but I think that would be the range EQ. Yeah, so we add a level here, and you see that level where I want to take profit is the range EQ, and you see that this is then a fake out above the range highs. And that's what I mean by waiting for price action to reach that area, and then wanting to know what you want to see from price action. And from my point of view, I very rarely have a very clear, specific thing that I want to see. It's more of reading price action in the now and making a decision based on what it's doing.
Yeah, I think it illustrates that you're not going and executing the trade just because you have an idea. You actually wait for more signals of the market, right? You wait for it to reach the area of interest, and then to tell you what it wants to do by the structures or the formation it forms. And that's the common theme here. Also, for me, I need to wait for not only that the market gets to the area where it's attractive to buy or sell, but also to confirm somehow with price action that the market actually wants to do that which I expect or I assume it's going to do. And that I think that's a distinctive difference between just gambling, right? Just saying, yes, it's going to do this, and I'm going to bet on it, and actually reading the market and getting a feel for it, and then take that calculated risk, which is what you should be doing as a trader.
I think this question is, if price reaches to target during FOMC and meets all the criteria, would you still trade it? So when there's a news event like FOMC, everything changes, right? Like you can absolutely not take a trade like this right before FOMC, because chances are that, I mean, how many? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, you might get it like easily a 20 pip move, like a 20 pip wick or something like that during FOMC. If the interest rate decision is somewhat unexpected, you can expect a very, very big move in the market. And imagine if you get a wick like that, like a 1 minute wick like that, and you have your stop loss right here, but you don't get filled on that stop loss, you get filled up here because of the inevitable slippage that comes with major news events like that. So instead of having a possible 1 hour loss, you're actually getting a 10-hour loss or a 5-hour loss or something like that, which is obviously going to be detrimental to your trading. So it's not worth trading the actual news event. It's better to say there's going to be, it's going to be a day tomorrow. There's going to be more trades tomorrow. However, you can trade the volatility that comes after the news event, and that's what Pedro talked about when he talked about trading the FOMC based on the press conference after the rate decision.
Yeah. Can I just also do my?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say what you. Go ahead, Pedro.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, sir. Finish your thought.
What I was going to say as a follow-up to what Jonatan said, when Jonatan said you should not, or it's not worth it, the risk to trade the actual news. Of course, Jonatan means to be entering right before that news. because there is a way to trade it, the actual move, right? That possibility of directional move, but it's by entering way before, planning strategically that there is going to be a big move today, or maybe in the Asian session, but around this session, either in or after, and you position yourself already, either at the beginning of the week or maybe even a week before, in anticipation that if the trade goes in your way, you're going to hold this for much longer, because there's kind of a two-step rocket kind of a move, right? Where you have your initial move, comes the news, and even even with a lot of volatility, because you got your entry a couple of days before, maybe even a week before, you have a safe distance from current price and your entry, where you can withstand that volatility. And perhaps if you are right in your analysis and your probabilities that you may have for the expected move of the news, you might catch that move. So there are ways to trade the actual move as well, just not right before it, or perhaps not even that specific day, because usually when a news comes out, it's gonna wick both sides of the session. So you're not gonna be able to catch, well, sometimes you can, but most of the times an entry hours before the actual news comes out is bound to have wicks that go through that entry. So if your stop is quite far, you might survive it, but if you have tight stop loss like myself, it's not going to survive. I know that from experience. If I enter a couple of hours before the news, a big move, chances are, just the volatility will take me out, and not even the odds of it going against me, but the volatility just wipes me out. And so it doesn't make sense. But there is a way to do it, of course, by doing it in advance, strategically, position yourself at a earlier time, where you build in some distance between the price, the level when the news comes out, and your entry. Possibly it's not always the case, but that's the way to do it if you actually want to catch that the move, the move that comes from the news. And you were going to say something, Pedro?
Yes, not exactly related to that, to the news now. It was actually more of the pattern that actually Jonatan is in the trading here on the housing, right? Because many can see this as a Quasimodo, I believe. From this move now, like something like this, it could be Quasimodo, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but before that, kind of Quasimodo, kind of, this is actually a good example of that. Is that the pattern can be seen almost in both ways, right? The question mark is kind of what's going to happen in here, right? Between these two levels. As you can see, price actually respected quite nicely both extremes in here, from the left shoulder. The kind of question mark is price going to be short from this level, or is going to kind of go long from this level, right? You can, because this can be look like a Quasimodo as a bullish scenario, and this one can almost be seen as a not exactly, maybe price needs to break still that low to go there. And that's sometimes what can lead into some confusion when people are trying to trade just patterns like this, is trying to again, in my opinion, to clarify if price actually, or which direction price wants to go towards to, that the question is more of where the high and the low kind of reacting from on the left side, and maybe where is the space also for where price wants to go next in this particular case, instead of just the pattern almost itself. Because the pattern, they can work both ways in this case. I'm not sure if I'm making myself clear in here. But yeah, the opportunity is kind of in between these ranges. You can basically almost look for trades and expecting price to fill this range in here. Basically, price continues to be within this range. But eventually, for the success of the pattern itself, it's more of a question of zooming out and try to find where maybe which direction price wants to go, and where are the highs and the lows actually are reacting from in this case. This one is more of a, personally, this is a little bit more of a risky setup in my opinion. I can see the thought process of Jonatan. Yeah, broke the low, maybe expecting price to move down, and the target is kind of somewhere in here. But in my opinion, kind of this value is actually still quite important in here. So I'm not really sure if this is a proper engulf to the downside or not. And we do, unfortunately, we cannot manage to break those highs. Which may actually, the price may wants to go slightly higher. But you can see basically our price continues to range just in between these levels in here. Which at this point, I don't know if you are still in the trade or not, Jonatan, at this point, with these so many bounces up and down, or if you close it. That's basically what I wanted to mention.
Yeah, Jonatan is on a short break. We'll ask him when he comes back.
I didn't even see that was not you.
No problem. Yes, if I were to look at this, let me put my screen on and I can give my 2 cents on Aussie dollar USD. If I were to see this, well, the first thing I start from the higher time frames, and what I said was the close below the structures from the left, these higher time frame structures, the daily order block, the weekly, although the weekly hasn't closed yet, so it hasn't been invalidated yet, but the daily for sure has been invalidated by the close below the structure. To me, that's a sign that at least I don't want to be buying, because I want to be a buyer, at least for longer term, right? Short term, I can still buy this, but if I on this time frame, in any case, if I want to be a buyer, I want to be on the winning team. And the fact that the close is below that structure, the structure is broken. That's me reading the market, telling me the sellers are winning, right? So if you want to participate, you want to be on that side of, at least that's my interpretation of the price action. So that's one thing. And we had actually the order flow on the daily already gave us that indication, right? There were also all the structures that were created were bearish structures on the daily, so nothing has changed for me to have a bullish bias. However, if we check on the lower time frames, of course, the daily structures are not shown as much anymore. We have broken the structure. On the lower time frames, I can see price coming back to the broken structures, because of course the demand area, they become supply area as they flip. Like this area, it used to be an area where it would attract buyers coming in, but as it breaks, it becomes a possible area where others are going to be selling, right? Everyone else who didn't close their position yet, I mean, the buyers are going to take off their now they realize they are on the wrong side of the market. They're going to be closing as soon as it reaches that area, if that's of any relevance to them. So if anything, that's the possibility for me to look for a long. But in general, I want to be, I think the higher probability trade is, of course, to be on the winning team, which is the seller in this case. And if I go deeper, of course, we have a bullish order block being created here, hasn't been retested yet. That could be an area where I say, well, if it comes back to this area and I think it's still going to reach this area before going any further, then I could be using this structure for a long. But that's not where we are right now. We are actually halfway through that distance to that possible short area here, or flipped demand area, which is now a possible supply area, or assumed supply area. Well, what else do I see? If I go to lower time frames, I don't see anything, at least not through my lenses. And on the 1 hour, I do see a break of the structure on the quasi on the 1 hour, but that's, in the greater scheme of things, that's not very that doesn't make me want to buy and hold this for very long. It's only makes the case for a long here a little bit bigger, right? A little bit more stronger, because now I have a alignment. I have an H4 plus an H1 for a long. But if anything, any longs being taken, I only see them as opportunity to get to an area where we previously we broke and are likely to see that flipped in area. So that's the only thing I see. But right now we're in the middle of that range, so it's not at least my way of trading, I want it to come back to some area of demand if I'm going to be shorting, go long here. And if anything, and for a short here, it makes sense because, of course, that was the last high. And if the market is going to trap traders, and the market does that all the time, trap traders thinking, it's breaking structure here, right? This is the last swing, the lowest high before that move down. When it gets back to that area, right, it's going to trap those traders who think, okay, now it's going to break structure and it's going to go straight up. But a lot of times it doesn't. It goes lower. Those traders are trapped, and their stops are being hit as the market is just going sideways, perhaps, or just retracing a little bit. So I'm not too eager to sell from here, but it makes sense because that is the area. That is the area where traders will be potentially trapped. And if I go zoom in, if I say, okay, all right, do I see anything as a sell from there on the 1 hour? I don't see anything. On the 30-minute, I do see an order block there. And are we respecting that in that relevant time frame, meaning that 30-minute time frame? And so far we are. So I would be just waiting there for more information and going to the lower time frames. If I were to look for that my quasi line, at least on the 5-minute, is a little bit lower, right? So it hasn't broken any structures yet on the 5-minute. On the 3-minute, still the same place. So it hasn't broken anything. I need to go all the way to the 1-minute, perhaps, to identify a possible break of structure, which I would be considering this to be the structure, right? But it's on the 1-minute, right? That time frame that I identify the reversal tells me something, how strong that reversal is. If only it breaks the 1-minute, to me that's not a high candidate for me to be selling, because the 1-minute is just the 1-minute. I mean, it's not as strong as if you were to have 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minutes, perhaps even the 15-minute telling you the same, right? We're recognizing that authority, if you will, of the hierarchy of the time frames. So I don't have a lot of reasons to go short here yet, but I can see, because of the last high that is being now retested, that it could be a short. But I would need to see some structures on the 1-minute. The areas that I would be interested in selling is perhaps this area. It hasn't been invalidated yet, and this area as well. And actually, we had a very nice reaction here. These are the things that I like trading when market has these kind of reaction on relevant areas based on the structure. But this is only on the 1-minute. And as we know, 1-minute structures, they can tell a story, but 30 minutes later, that story can be just wiped out by higher time frame structures. So I'm not too eager to go short here yet. I wouldn't be.
Look at the indecision when the I think it's especially visible on the 5-minute at that level. You have a clear trend leading up into that area, and then you have a clear indecision between buyers and sellers. Here we have reached a point where neither buyers or sellers are taking control here, and usually I mean, that's what I'm looking for as well when I look to fade a move or fade a trend. It's looking at like who's in control, and if one side have been in control and then we see that side weakening, well, that is a sign of a change to come.
Yeah, what I see is, if I see on the 5-minute, if I were to interpret this, what I see is that the lower area, we have a lot of wicks, meaning as price is going to that extreme for that time frame, for that 5-minute period, it's being bought up. That's a bullish sign. I don't want to be seeing that if I'm expecting a reversal. And do we see that on the other side, on the other half of that range? Do we see, predominantly wicks being formed? Let's mark that. Right? Do we see wicks being formed as the same way we see it on the lower side? Not exactly. We have 2 wicks. We have 1 rejection wick here, but if anything, we have big candles being formed. So interpreting that on its own, it tells me that they're still, they're supporting the price action as we are here. I don't see, not yet. Maybe it's still to come. Maybe this is just the market playing and tricking us, thinking it's going to go up, then to switch a couple of bars later and then tanking, and everyone is trapped. But that's,
Yeah, I mean, there's no real looking at the local time, very local time frames here and price action. There's no real indication that buyers or sellers are in control here. I do get what you're saying though, with on the 5 minute there are more wicks to the downside than there are wicks to the upside, and the move began with a big bullish candle, like an outside bar, and but still I feel like, what happens at the end of a range.
Mm-hmm. I understand. I'm with you with that. If there's going to be a reversal, this is the place to look for the reversal. And if we look on the 50-minute, we can see that there's almost equilibrium between the 2 sides, where you have a pin bar of roughly the same range, right, in opposite direction next to each other. That's the definition of a range bound move, right? Both sides are equally strong. So to me, we're range bound until we get more information to see if we're going to go up or down. But yeah, and it can go both ways, of course.
Yeah. Pedro, are you looking at any specific trades?
I'm looking at the DAO that is retracing back into, is coming back to the lows. We are less than 15 minutes away from the US Open, so that's going to be interesting to see if there's going to be anything on US indices.
GBP USD has hit an interesting support level. It had a strong move to the downside. Looks like it hit a support area. So that would be, it might be perhaps a bit late on that. I'm not going to enter that one because I'm already in AUD USD, but I want to, I just want to bring that up and show you, because we have this is another good example of how we're having a very strong move into that level, and a strong move like that creates a good level to take profit. If we had a move that kind of moved like this, and then we have so many highs and so many lows, but now we broke this level, went straight down to that level, and now we create a good level for potential profit taking here. And here you can see a similar pattern playing out as we have on ADUSD. If we go to using the replay tool here, we do see that what happened right here is almost the same type of price action that we had on ADUSD. We can flip the chart like that, and we see a very, very similar type of price action on GBPUSD that we had on ADUSD. Although on AUDUSD is more, it's been playing out a bit longer. I think the 1 minute here on GBPUSD is almost like the 5 minute on AUDUSD. But my point is that at the end of a trend, you either have a V-shaped recovery or you have consolidation. V-shaped recovery, but on the lower time frames, that's also consolidation. And even if we go into the lower than the 1 minute, we'll see that is consolidation as well. Just like this is consolidation prior to the top. I think, yeah, very interesting.
Yes, indeed.
Price is basically just ranging, and you can try to find opportunities or force price action into those levels, but it's just difficult. because it can break easily the lows and break the highs and come back. Like that for me, and on pound dollar at the moment it's a bit in a range, pairing with the low, with the highs from the 12 all the way to the lows where you got your entry on 13. I think price may want to go a little bit higher, close to 1.275 on the pound dollar, before moving to the downside. We'll see.
Yeah,
this is one of those moments where, especially for anyone that's just trading euro dollar or pound dollar, something like that, they can get trapped, right? Because price is not really moving that much, and they'll be joining every trading session with the expectation of making money, taking trades, but maybe the setup is not there, and they are just going to force trades in this period, and usually that doesn't really end that well for their performance, right? And kind of when they review those trades, they're going to kind of realize, yeah, these were not the best market conditions for me to even try to trade, but yeah, because of boredom or whatever reason it is, and the need to be active in the market, they'll just be forcing trades constantly.
Yeah, I mean that need to be active is very real. It's definitely
it plays into that which you said a couple of streams ago, Pedro, about managing your expectation. It's because of course you did it in a different context within a trade a setup, but it also applies for our whole session, our whole trading day, managing our expectation, because if we don't, we're going to be expecting something that maybe is not realistic, to expect every day to have this, a certain kind of profit or a certain kind of movement. And if you're not managing that expectation adequately, you try to force those trades, and we all know what happens when you force to see something that is not there, or you're trying too hard to see any patterns, just because you want to.
Exactly. Yeah, in my opinion, for me, managing expectations is such a key word in all aspects of trading. Even for a beginner trader, anyone that is starting their own journey, everyone tries to jump into the market and start trading with expectation to be successful quite quickly, to start dreaming about those lifestyle that everyone sees online, and then doesn't come to fruition, right? Doesn't happen. Or someone buys a funded account and they expect to, after 2 weeks or a month, to already be funded and already start getting payouts, and it doesn't happen. Like, and then kind of it goes on and goes on and goes on. Like, and that just leads into frustration after a while. Like, of someone that says, yeah, I have 6 months to be profitable, and they start approaching, they are confident, they actually progress during the first 3 months, but after the fourth month, they start comparing. Okay, I said to myself that I was about to be profitable in 6 months. I'm nowhere near profitability. I'm actually still struggling. I maybe even losing money at this point. And they start kind of focusing on the process. They just start judging themselves if they are making money on a daily basis or not. And most likely they are not on that stage, right? So basically, the last 2 months of that 6 months period that they determined to themselves, it's not happening. Like, and that leads into frustration. And then maybe told your parents or your partner or whatever that you're going to be achieving this goal in this specific period of time, and it's not happening again. And managing expectations, like, and this just delays all the progress that someone could have been doing if they actually just start focusing on the process and learning, trying to find better ways to improve on a daily basis. Literally focus on the process, and that goes from this big perspective of managing your expectations towards to the trading session, towards a specific trade, individual trade. What is your target? Kind of aiming for too much when there's no kind of probability for price to even move there, and so on and so forth. Like, so yeah, managing expectations is something that it's really important in all aspects of the trading journey.
Definitely.
Well said.
Man, it's nothing's happening. It's just this is why
indices are dropping a little bit.
I think this is one of the reasons why I'm struggling with like scalping. Well, not struggling. I think it's days like today's just super boring. Like, I've been sitting here watching price action for 1.5 hours, and it's like I enter a trade, like we had this big, nice trend. I entered the trade, and then the market just decides that no, I'm not gonna move. I'm just gonna sit here, do nothing, you know. And then you
but
open
then
up
again,
another
we
chart, and you see like GBP. You see like, oh, that's a trade that I should have entered, you know. Yeah, I don't know.
but then again, we could know that in the before the news, right? Before the news comes out of FOMC, you're gonna see the market be range bound
Yeah.
for some time with compressed volatility, because no one wants to take a directional bet on price until the news comes out. So I think that also is a key component to knowing how to manage it, right? By taking into account what kind of day it is and what can we expect um, based on what we have seen in the past.
Well, this morning price action was insanely volatile, though. But we must have had news, didn't we? I need to look that up.
I think
Yeah,
we did
okay.
on
So
pound.
in the morning we had inflation
Yeah.
rate in the morning. Then we had building permits did come out about an hour ago. So I guess we've actually had quite decent volatility today. I mean, look at pound, pretty good volatility. Euro USD is just nothing, and of course we had this move right here. So I guess it's just about the timing, the time of the day as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure.
Let's see. We got the equity market is going to be opening, I believe, in 4 minutes. So we'll see if that one might give us some interesting volatility. I would love to see AUD USD move lower here. See if we can get a move.
Still there in the range. It's maybe breaking out now.
Yeah, it's creating a triangle here, but I don't know. Let's see.
Testing your patience.
It is. It's sort of like building a symmetrical triangle here. I think this symmetrical triangle is it's a bit too big in relationship to the trend. It should have been smaller to really be tradable. Half diamond there. Yeah, it is. I guess it is a half a diamond. That's the definition of a. Yeah, it's a good way. So for those wondering, like a diamond is two symmetrical triangles. No, it's a broadening pattern with a triangle creates a diamond. You could say that this is the half diamond right here. And for this trade to work out, we need to see. We basically need to see, I believe, this low to. I want to see like an open and close below that low. Then I'd be more than happy to stop moving my stops to the downside. So let's see what we get here. Am I the only one in a trade?
No, actually, go ahead, Pedro.
No, go ahead. I'm not in trade. Go ahead.
I am in a trade, but EU is so weak. I'll show my chart so you guys can see. I've been talking about. Let me put my screen on. I've been talking about this area for I think for the whole week already, where price is coming all the time back to that area, and the area is comprised by H4 structures and H1. I know it's quite congested on the chart, but as you can see, this is the area which is based on overlapping of different order blocks from different time frames. And I know, or at least the market has shown us, that when after it's being created, these overlapping area of order blocks, that they price tends to react to them, right? So if they're bullish order blocks, of course, you'll see buying coming in. And I was expecting yesterday and today, I was expecting perhaps that's going to be the beginning, right? This is the one of the first times I indicated when price came all the way to that area. We had a as expected reaction to the upside, but it didn't make any higher highs. The second time around, yesterday night, it came again, and we had that buying coming in. But as you can see, it's making lower highs each time it's getting back into that area. That tells me, that speaks of weakness. It should be breaking and making higher high, bouncing off of this area. It looks like it's going to break it, right? So even though that's the area to be buying, the more hits, the more times it gets revisited, the weaker it becomes. According to my rules, personal rules, I would be still trading it because it's a quasi and not a fresh order block. Fresh meaning I wouldn't be trading it after the first trade. So on the lower time frames, I did find some structures to buy from that area, right? Those two horizontal yellow lines, that's exactly what I just pointed out in the beginning. As you can see on the lower time frames as well, as price comes back into that area, there is that reaction. So it is confirming that that's the demand area that price could reverse from. But the question is, will it reverse from that area? And we are currently in a very interesting area. We did form on a lower time frame a quasi, and we're coming back into that area, and it's a valid entry order block in my book, right? So depending on the price action as it is being, that area is being retested, meaning this area is being retested. Depending on the price action, I would get in because it's below that 50% retracement. However, the higher time frames are telling me it's getting weaker by the hour, and really realistically, as we're getting nearer to the FOMC, a move, a clear directional move is not very likely. As we're getting nearer, it becomes less likely. So those things makes me think that it's going to probably just continue to go sideways, meaning I should get out of that trade. But so far, it has created what I needed to see, which is a reversal within the area of interest on the higher time frames, and it has come back to those area, and it has been reacting beautifully. Actually, while I'm saying this, is reacting quite nicely to that area. Whether it's going to hold or not, that's anyone's guess. But I'm in this trade right now. I'm floating some, not really, I'm around break even basically, but it doesn't matter. The thing is, this is the area, and I'm just going to let the market do its thing and see. As we're near FOMC, I'm probably not going to let this on, because the volatility will probably take me out before it actually moves in any direction. But what I probably will do is strategically think, where am I able to catch a move from here, or take the profit if it goes my way? Am I going to be targeting that high, maybe this high, maybe the whole that particular today's high? Or is that today's high? I think it is. No, it isn't. Am I going to take the high of the day? I don't know, but I wouldn't be, coming back to the same theme. I need to manage my expectation, right? I cannot be expecting it to go 80 pips, 60 pips before FOMC. That's not going to happen. It doesn't happen normally, and why would it happen today? So that's the trade, but it looks very weak. Even though I'm in the trade, I realize that this is likely to be stopped out. That's one of the areas that I'm interested in buying for that possible move from that area to perhaps something like that. I don't know if that's even, I think that's fairly possible, given the range and, the distance. That's only about, what, 10, 15 pips? Way too little for me. But if that's the case, by the time FOMC, or as we're getting nearer to FOMC, then I'm just going to close it, and take home whatever profit, if there's any, to be taken home. But as we speak, I may just get stopped out, way before that. And it's not a surprise, since the market, as we saw on the hourly, is very, very weak. All the other times it has bounced from that area, it made a lower high, right? That's a clear sign that the buyers are decreasingly coming into the market as it comes in. So this time around, probably we're going to have a lesser kind of a reaction. And if that's the case, then I'm going to be stopped out. But that's part of the deal.
So we do see AUD USD now breaking to the downside, and this is on the 1 minute right here. Now, interesting enough, we go to the 5 minute, we see that. So the 5 minute candle closed about a minute ago. It held this support quite nicely, but now it's breaking down. So looking at the structure of the 5 minute, I think I will have to wait for confirmation of a candle close on the 5 minute. We do have multiple, we have a open and close below this level, like I wanted to see on the 1 minute. And you can also see that we're creating lower highs, and then we have that breakdown. I really want to see price continuing lower here, and based on the 5 minute, I will manage this trade based on the 5 minute, and I'll begin by moving my stop loss probably up here, and that's probably the lowest I want to move my stops on this setup if price moves lower. We'll see what happens here. So far, I like how it looks on the 1 minute, but it needs to translate over to the 5 minute. We have that as I believe the important level. We can also see we also have a level right here that price is, now it's just looking very strong candle in the 5 minute. Let's see what happens here. But there's no real change on the 1 minute.
It's choppy.
Yeah. But I guess, as you can see in the scrolling text below, we are expanding the team. We're expanding the live trading room. So if you do have any skills, any particular skill set that you think might come in handy in the live trading room, if you want to join the team and help out, let me know by sending an email to tradingroom@the5ers.com, and we'll see what you can potentially help out with.
Is it just front office kind of working in camera on stream, or behind the scenes as well?
We have a lot of, we're expanding this in a big way. So we're looking for, we're basically looking for anything that you think you can, provide us, help us with. It could be managing the chat on YouTube. It could be, graphic designers,
Okay.
Content strategists, shorts, creators, and extra hosts, being on stream, being off stream, being in front of the camera, behind the camera. So we're looking for all sorts of people. So if you do have anything, do we need an Arabic community host? Well, not on this live stream, but maybe, who knows?
Someone asked about the BOG tomorrow, Abdullah, I believe.
Sure.
Which is interesting. What can you expect from the BOG?
You want me to share your screen?
Yeah, I can. You can. At this point, the BOG is expecting to remain the same. And the conversation has been, when are they going to hike? Basically, the Bank of Japan is doing the opposite of all the other central bankers. They're actually in a path to increase. all the way that they spend like 10 years or so with a negative interest rate. So recently, for the last year, they've started to increase. And I think the expectation is maybe not this week, not this meeting, but maybe in the beginning of 2025 to hike again. I think that's more of the expectation. And we saw last week some commentary from someone from the Bank of Japan, I believe, or some minister in Japan to make comments about it. And we saw the reaction. Already saw some reaction on the N pairs last week, quite aggressively. That was a kind of reaction to the market to what was said. So that's going to be interesting tomorrow. Again, in terms of rate cuts, there's not going to be any expectation, but in terms of the commentary, that's where the market's going to be paying attention to. When looking at the charts, again, if you're not trading, if you like to trade the N pairs, I would definitely recommend to everyone to look at the GPY currency index. And it's great to look as a correlation and confluence with the other ones. Basically, it does the opposite of individual N pairs is doing in here. We have been moving to the downside, like we have seen a weak yen since the beginning of December, and we are kind of approach now kind of this initial range in here, at least this upper edge range from this lows, and we had the reaction. Like it was actually a great reaction. It was a fresh demand zone in there that one never reacted from it, and price kind of starts showing weakness, and that move happened already. We have actually a double top now, and I could see eventually price getting closer to this range. Maybe price could just spike. It could spike in there, even though it did manage to break low. So maybe the expectation is perhaps for price to get back into this level. But if price will do something like that, that would be nice, especially if it wants to continue to push lower. Maybe this is not going to be the final low of this move. Maybe price still wants to go further down, and something like that could be interesting to see. Like maybe taking this level. Basically, this is the zone that price actually managed to break out the structure. It's also kind of a previous level support resistance, and maybe from here we could push a little bit more to the downside, which means dollar yen, euro yen, and so on would actually eventually break new highs. When you're looking at the dollar yen, we are again back at the 150 mark. 150 has been a level that in the past 1 or 2 years ago, it was a level that the market was always looking for potential intervention from the Bank of Japan. And now we are going slightly a little bit higher. This, I believe, is not exactly again the final high on the dollar yen. Sorry, I could see price going slightly more to the upside. I think price is kind of a bit in the middle, unless there is a left shoulder in there, which maybe there is. Yeah, at least we have this structure. But I could see price going slightly more to the upside in here. On the lower time frame, it's nice that we start breaking a little bit of structure. That's nice. At least we start breaking some lows. But I could see price continue to push a little bit more to the upside before a final reversal. And that could happen maybe somewhere around this level in here. Bigger picture, where did this watch reacted from? This was a nice reversal pattern that happened at these lows again when the yen index created that high somewhere in here, which was actually kind of a good level. The dollar yen was actually creating this low in here, right? Basically creating this reversal pattern. We broke structure, and then price starting to move to the upside. We actually already broken some highs before that, so that's actually a nice reversal in there. Yeah, I would like to see this yen index or the dollar yen to go slightly higher. Yen index potentially going a little bit more downside. You can look at the other yen pairs as well, euro yen, pound yen, and so on as well. Could continue to push a little bit more to the upside before looking for shorts. Yeah, just that's a little bit of what I'm going to be looking for in here.
Thank you for that. Those opinions or those insight into the that event. Central Bank of Japan coming out with their statements and rate decisions, which you expect to be unchanged, to be left unchanged, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're expecting the change to happen, at least the market, beginning of 2025. But to hike, while everyone else is cutting, the Bank of Japan is actually hiking at this point.
Yep. There's something I would like to show on my on Eurodollar for everyone who might be watching that pair, and this is the narrative we always talk about, right? And I mention it many times. What is the narrative, right? What is the narrative? What is the market trying to tell us? And I'm going to show you why I think it's going to break and break this area, and eventually go lower and probably just continue to go much lower, right? Although I am in the trade, I did take longs from this setup. This is what I'm reading, right? We have the earliest structure in the market on the 1 minute is this level here. It is at a relevant area on the higher time frame, so it makes sense for me to be looking for those reversal. However, how is it behaving as it is forming those structures, or how is it following the script of a reversal? That's the question that I have, right? So the market does this, right? So this is the quasi, at least in my mind, this is what it does. That's the left shoulder, the head breaks the structure, goes all the way higher, makes that asymmetrical head and shoulder, and I'm waiting for price to come back to some area of support, which can be that little fellow here or the one above it. It does that the first time around. It has the, let me change this to actually how it happened, right? This time around, right, was the moment if I'm not mistaken, that's where I got in. As price was retesting that order block, it goes on to make a higher high, which is a bullish sign, right? It's following the script. It comes back. That happens often. It comes back to even to the same order block, but it needs to. That's the moment. That's the test. It needs to show us it's going to reverse. How? By buyers coming in, and you need to be able to see that on the time frame as well, right? And I see this. If we see, actually now it's looking great, but if we see, for example, if you're looking for signs on different time frames to see, the 5 minute is showing bullish order flow, right? This is the second time it comes to that area. You have a bullish order block being formed, being respected very nicely there, and it forms another bullish order block, right? That's a bullish order flow. That's the sign that the market, that's how it should behave as price is getting back to those areas. So on the 5 minute, I would conclude, yes, it's following the script, it's likely to go up. However, on the 3, and this is what I wanted to show, it's not about predicting where price is going, but it's about reading what's happening. What happens when market comes to that area? That's the test, right? If the market can show signs of a reversal from this area, then it is likely that the whole setup is going to, work to some degree. And what does it do as it comes in, right? Let me try this out. What does it do as we come in, right? The market comes in. That's on the second time around. Let me move that. I think I didn't. Let me get that straight. All right, so this is the right. That's the move. I didn't take the first. Let me show you. Well, my new keyboard is playing with me. Let me just do it the way I had it.
It's a good keyboard, though. Right, I gotta admit, it's a good keyboard.
It is, but it's probably just me, right? So the thing is, the question is, I'll do the replay some other time. The question is, what does price do when it gets to that area, right? It's the second time around, but it doesn't matter. Whenever it gets to the area, what does it do? How does it behave? And on the 3 minute, what do we see here, right? It gets into that area. Maybe I should make this a little bit bigger. Right? What does it do? What does the bars tell us as it comes in? Right? It gets in. It has that wick. Doesn't tell you very much, but okay, some buyers came in, created that little wick. The second time around, as it is going deeper, it forms a outside bar, a bullish one. That's what we want to see, right? So now that it created that order block, my next test is the market going to confirm that? And actually, I was reading the let's see, this is the outside, the low, and actually actually my conclusion is not the correct one, but it doesn't matter. The reading of the market is the same. It creates an order block. The next test is, will that order block hold? And by some reason, I thought the close was below this low. That's why I thought, this is going to break initially. But now that I see it and I double check it, the close is on the same level, right? If we look at this bar, what is the low of that bar? It's 04, right? You can see it here. It's 04, 87.8. And what's the close on this one? The next candle. It's the same level. So it's basically, it didn't invalidate it. It tested it to the extreme, but and it held. If it holds the test, it passes the tests. So it's telling me not only it is reacting to the relevant area, it is making the first attempt to make that reversal, and the test to confirm that little reversal, it passes. After that, it has another touch with the wick and has buying coming in, creating that little wick, right? All of those things are telling us buyers are coming in, which is what you want to be seeing if you want to see a reversal from this area. And actually, it looks like that was the reversal, right? I didn't know of that. Of course, I actually thought, for some reason, I thought that this bar closed below and invalidated the order block, which didn't happen. That's what I meant by I got to the wrong conclusion, because I concluded that I saw that I thought I saw that it closed, the following bar closed below that order block and invalidated. If it were to invalidate it, that would be the sign, that's the failure of the test. If it fails the test as it is getting to that relevant area, it tells me the whole setup. It's not the whole setup, but this order block, in any case, this entry order block is likely to fail. But it didn't. And as you can see, that's usually what happens. Of course, I don't wait for this whole movement to happen to then get in, right? I look for those signs, however, of those tests being passed or failed to get the entry in. And that's my confirmation. So I wait for the market to come to those areas. And as it is getting there, I try to read the market, see if it tells me it is likely to respect it or not. And depending on that, I take the trade. And once I get in, it's no longer up to me what it does. I just let it go, and it will do whatever it wants to do, because that's how price is. I mean, this is so clear to me. This is technically very, very clear. Go ahead, Jonatan.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't that clear. I wish it was more bearish, because I can see that AUD/USD is definitely moving towards my stop loss here. So that's that. I think that's a great way to start wrapping up this live stream and head into the giveaways of today. So what you've all been waiting for here, we're going to be doing the giveaways that we've did throughout the week here. So I'm gonna prepare all of that and get all of that ready and set up. Give me a second here. I will make sure I have all of that set up.
With that being said, today we have such a big range for the last couple of days. I will be quite surprised if we don't have maybe spikes or kind of wicks going up and down of all these moves, obviously this range. Yeah. I'll be quite surprised if that doesn't happen. So be careful with that, managing your trades accordingly, because there's a high probability that there's plenty of liquidity outside this range, either up or down. So
I agree. I totally agree. I think you should assume that's going to happen. So if there's any initial move, and if your stop is in between that range, you probably you're setting up yourself for failure, because it's going to probably take you out before it even decides which direction it goes. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, so let me just get all of this ready, and we can share my screen.
How many winners today?
3. So we did 3 giveaways throughout the week, and we're going to draw the winners for all of those live streams right now. So we got bottom here. Okay, let's see what we get. So today we're gonna do. Well, let's start with the 16th. All of the other ones shouldn't be here, but that's, I guess, doesn't matter. Okay, let's begin. The first one. So if you are, okay, if you're a winner, you will be getting an email at probably end of this week or like on Monday, maybe on Monday. We'll see. If you don't get if you don't get an email from me within a week, then send an email to tradingroom@the5ers.com and I'll take a look at it. But you should be getting an email in the next couple of days. Okay, so let's do the first giveaway winner. Let's see, who do we have? Okay, we got Abdullah is the winner of the first live stream.
Congratulations.
Good stuff.
So good stuff. Okay, so I have to open up a new one to make sure I got everything saved here.
He's a regular. I think he's quite regular in the stream.
Yeah, I think he's a regular. I share that one. Now we're gonna do the 17th. One winner on that one. All right, Harash.
Ooh,
awesome. That's
Harash,
nice.
Harash.
Congrats.
That's a regular for sure. Ooh,
This is definitely regular. He's in almost all the live stream, and I actually think he have won an account in the past as well. So this might be his second one. Not sure, but definitely congratulations to you. It's a he's laughing all the way to the bank. That's gonna be amazing. I love it. Okay, next one. So next one is today, and today's date is the 18th. One winner. Let's go. All right. Awesome. So we have 3 winners here, and congratulations to all of you. I will be sending this over to the team, and they'll be sending you emails with a link that you can use to redeem a 20K bootcamp account. All right, so I think this is we had a question if this is going to be the last the last live stream of the year, which is not going to be the last live stream of the year, but it's going to be the last full live stream, I believe. We're going to have we're going to see if we could perhaps have some shorter live stream next week, maybe some pre-recorded content, and then we're going to do at least one real live stream next week, and that's going to be the last one. Okay, that's it for today, guys.
In 1 week from now is Christmas, right? Already 25th.
Yeah, it's but we're probably going to be well, as you might understand, we haven't really figured out exactly how we're going to be setting it up. We do have a little holiday called Christmas here, which obviously I'm not able to go live during that time. My family would probably not like that, and I think there would be a lot of people interested in watching a live trading show at that time anyway. But yeah, we'll figure something out. We're gonna give you something. You're gonna get something for sure. You're not gonna be completely left behind. But thank you for joining here today, and thank you, Pedro. Thank you, Victor, and thanks everyone for joining. And we hope to see you all in the coming live streams as well.
Thank you, Jonatan, for having me. And Pedro, thank you for all your good stuff, your knowledge, those gold nuggets you bring to the table. I appreciate them. And everyone at home, I'm not going to say happy holidays because this is not the last stream of the year, but enjoy these days and join us
happy
again
holidays.
soon.
Yeah, happy holidays, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Hi guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. Now make sure you like and subscribe, and most of all go into the YouTube and check our other content that we provide here at The 5ers. We'll see you in the next one.